morning and happy Moon Day. It's Claudia of Moon Powered Astrology here. And I want to say happy birthday to all you Leo-born babies. The sun is in Leo. And we have a full moon, a super full moon coming up in the morning tomorrow. So let's start as we always do. Let's do a quick drop into the heart. So put your hand in the middle of your chest where your heart center is. Feet on the floor. Notice where the breath is in your body as it comes and goes. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. And on the next inhalation, see the energy of prana, life force from source, coming all the way up from below the soles of your feet. All the way up, filling those trillions of cells, every single cell in your body filling with prana. Up, 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 all the way to the top of your head, to your crown chakra, and white light pours down through your crown chakra on the exhalation, removing any negativity from your cells, taking away any extraneous thinkety-think that keeps you from being here with me right now. Your shoulders drop away from your ears. You feel your hips supported by the surface you're sitting on, with the grounding, beautiful, magnificent energy of the earth beneath you. Inhale. And on the next exhalation, let your consciousness drop behind your facial mask, down through your throat, down through your chest, and comes to rest in your heart. Is your belly moving? Even though you're in your heart, your belly ought to be moving, so you're breathing fully. To live fully, you must breathe fully. And now that beautiful rosy ray fills your heart with self-love. Self-love, aren't you fabulous? You're wonderful. You're here with me, and I love you. Love, love, love yourself. Breathe in that beautiful ray of rosy pink. And now the emerald green ray comes to join this rosy ray, filling your heart with the power of healing and the power of opening your heart to love, especially with this nodal axis now focusing on relationships in Libra and Aries. Exhale. And now that energy fills all four chambers of your heart, fills your heart center, moving through your torso, moving through your whole body. These rays now move to fill your whole body, bathing every cell as this energy moves through your skin to fill the field around you, and now to fill your whole environment with the creative, magnificent force of self-love and life force from source. And when you feel complete, grounded in your heart, open your eyes and come to be with me. There will be a replay of this show on YouTube and up on Facebook after this is over. And we have a full moon coming up in Aquarius tomorrow. And Aquarius is the sign that rules astrology. So if you haven't had a reading lately, or if you just have some burning issues, some things you need timing about, and to know about how to navigate these crazy evolutionary energies for the rest of this year and beyond, get a reading. Yeah. Make an appointment with me for a reading. I just love, love, love working with clients. So very, very special light beings to me. So this morning, the moon is in Capricorn, and it is at 23 degrees. So tonight at 8:58 p.m., the moon will move into Aquarius as it prepares to oppose the sun. Actually, the sun will be opposing the moon. That's what gives it its full moon light. And it will be one of four, the second of four super moons that we have, super full moons in a row. Now, what makes a moon super? When the moon is the closest to the earth, known as perigee, in its cycle, it is called a super full moon. And it ramps up all those properties of the full moon, the emotions. The tides in the ocean become more dramatic. And so the tides in our psyches also become more dramatic. The tendency of Aquarius is to detach But remember, this cycle began under the aegis of a Cancer new moon on the 17th of July. And so at that time, we were asked to take a look at family and the inner child, the divine mother, our own children, what we're birthing creatively out of the first 6 months of this year, and to cultivate compassion and tolerance and sacred self-care. These are all qualities of the Cancer energy ruled by the moon. The sun has moved into Leo, and so thus because we had a late degree new moon, the sun has moved into Leo, and so we have this dance of adjustment that's going on. And this dance of adjustment will be going on for the next few cycles, as we have new moons at late degree in a sign, and then the sun moves, and so then the full moon becomes lit up by where the sun currently is, and that's in Leo. Leo's ruled by the sun. This full moon brings us back to 2 weeks ago, to the new moon, to what we set forth. And the dance of adjustment has to do with the fact that Aquarius is concerned with friends and extended family and community and collaboration. So it takes us beyond the security of home into the security of those of like mind, those whom we consider friends. And July had some intensity to it. It had a lot of changes in intensity, and here we are on the last day of July. So one of the things that made it so intense was we had the nodal axis shift from having been in Taurus and Scorpio for 18 months. It's now shifted into Libra and Aries for the next 18 months. So we have shifted from a focus on the material world and resources to relationships. Our relationship with self, Aries, and others, Libra. So that happened. We also had a Pluto square, and that was the 22nd, the 25th, and the 28th. Intensity. Yes, that added a lot of intensity to the end of the month for us. So on the 21st, prior to that, the sun was opposite Pluto. And then on the 11th, earlier in the month, we had Mercury square the nodal axis. And so this has just intensified everything and created kind of some maximum interference in some of the things for some of us in what we were trying to do. And it asked us to overcome the things that stopped us from our creative process in the past, that stopped us from happy relationships with family. So it created a high level of instability, but also opportunity. And we have that with this full moon, because this full moon is square Jupiter. It creates a T-square in Taurus with Jupiter. So Jupiter's in Taurus, the sun is in Leo, and the moon is in Aquarius. And these are fixed signs. So fixed signs also hunker down. They can be stubborn. And so the letting go that last hurrah of the Scorpio South Node asked for continued. It continued also with that new moon. The new moon was opposite Pluto. So we have Pluto dancing through. And as the nodes retrograde and move forward, we're going to have this not so exact, but we're going to have Pluto hovering, and it actually will be exact again. We'll have this intensity hovering through November, just so you know. So this is the overarching framework that's going on at the time of this full moon. But Jupiter is a great benefic. It's a feel-good planet. Yeah, it's the planet of luck and opportunity and expansion. So this is a very expansive full moon. And August, as we step into August tomorrow, August may seem to be kind of an odd month because we've got Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, doing some stuff. And so the upsetting of apple carts, the radical awakening to the top-down paradigm that we've been under for thousands of years, really, in some parts of the world, continues to be rattled. And we see people trying to pick up the apples and put them back in the old cart. It's not going to work. You may need a whole new cart, let alone the apples that you fill that cart with. So it's time to to look at the process of death and rebirth in our lives. That's really what's happening. This transformational power of Pluto is at work in the background. It's a transpersonal planet, means you can't really use it personally. You just have to look at how you're going to navigate it and answer its call regarding shadow work. So as I mentioned, this full moon is in fixed signs. It means that the things that you're looking at as you take steps, and that's what this intensity asks you to do. Take a step forward. That's what all of this Pluto energy asks you to do. Take a step forward. Release something, take a step forward. Reclaim the energy to reboot and rebirth your life. Aquarius is fixed air. Oftentimes people ask me, well, wait a minute, isn't Aquarius the water bearer? Well, first of all, Aquarius has these wavy lines as its symbol, which reminds you that it is electrical. It's ruled by Uranus, rules electricity, and Aquarius is a dual-ruled sign. It's ruled by Saturn, just as the previous sign of Capricorn is, but when Uranus was discovered in the 1700s, 1760s, I believe, we ended up assigning that to Aquarius. And it is out of the box thinking, the great awakener, the ruler of earthquakes, surprises, and upsets. So as we move through the week and the moon moves out of its 9-degree position, it's at 9 degrees at the time of the full moon, it will move to square. It was squaring Jupiter at the time of the full moon, but it will move to square Uranus as it moves forward through Taurus. So at that time, watch for the ahas, the breakthroughs. It's a great time, and that's on as we move through on the second and third, to break old habits. And this full moon, of course, full moons are culmination points. They bring full light to the situation, and in this case, it harkens back to the 21st of January, when the moon was new at 1 degree of Aquarius. So at that time, we were asked to initiate a new vision. And this is part of what this Pluto energy is asking you to clear the decks for. Now we come to the culmination of the time, these 6 months that have passed between that Aquarius new moon and this full moon. So this is a lunar power point, as I call it, for all of you who have predominant Aquarius energy or Leo energy or Taurus and Scorpio, because this is the fixed cross of the zodiac, and we are having it kicked off with the outlet being Scorpio. And as I mentioned, Pluto rules Scorpio, and it reminds you to continue to release that which no longer works. Jupiter being in the mix asks you if there's something that you overvalue. Taurus is the sign of values, and this is where Jupiter is currently traveling. Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system, and so it asks us to really look at where we are overindulging, where we are overextended in our lives. This whole time is telling you to slow your roll. Remember that odd phrase I've used, slow down to speed up. That's the time we're in. We're slowing down, slowing our roll, becoming more present. That's really what that means. Becoming more and more present, more and more connected to spirit 24/7. To look at how we're going to make our dreams real and listen for the messages and do our sacred self-care, so that with Saturn, one of the rulers of this Aquarius full moon in Pisces, it's telling you to really look at how you are going to support your immune system, how you can move every day so that your lymphatic system is in flow, because that's your inner ocean, support for your immune system. And also your third eye, cultivating your third eye. All of you can see that I'm still battling my inflammation, but I appreciate all the prayers and healing that have been coming from you for that. So as we look at this full moon and we look back, what was our assignment in January when it came to the Aquarius new moon? To envision That was the word, envision. In the Capricorn cycle prior to that, we kicked off by the solstice, we looked at a strategy and a plan, our personal plan for the year. And then we took it into the sphere of the greater good. How did our plan, how can our plan fit into a vision of the world that benefits the greater good? This full moon's a great time to celebrate with friends and to look back at that vision. Who shares your vision? How are you walking your vision every day? You may have a vision of life, but if you have a vision of health and wealth in your life, but you're not doing sacred self-care, and you're continually using words and phrases that underscore lack, you're at cross purposes with yourself. And as you know, there's the power of realization. To drop into that, to drop into your heart and feel what it feels like to be living that vision right now, and then take one step in the direction of that vision. We've got this, the Leo sun is going to be creating more heat, literally, in our relationships, in our, in just everything we're doing in life. But Venus is in retrograde motion. Just joined the retrograde parade, and it will be in retrograde motion until November in Leo. It moved in retrograde motion at 28 degrees, and it will it will end its trip in reverse motion at 12 degrees of Leo. So review your passions. And with the South Node in Libra, where do you want more romance in your relationships? Where are your relationships not providing what your heart wants, what your heart's calling for? So that's a good thing to ask yourself. And just know that, yeah, the heat's going to ramp up. We've got these solar flares that are at maximum. I mentioned that happens every 11 years. And we're aligned, we're aligned with the galactic center. We keep, dancing around that. And that's an enormous amount of energy being emitted. So the dance hasn't stopped, and it's not going to stop. And if we're here, we need to do everything we can to take really good care of ourselves. As I mentioned, Aquarius can be, it's called the water bearer, but that's because it's pouring. If you are familiar with the tarot card of the star, that is the tarot card for Aquarius. And it's pouring a new consciousness onto the earth, a consciousness of collaboration, of community, a collaboration of an understanding, of an awareness of oneness, as we also are free to apply our unique individual gifts. Aquarius is the sign of genius. What is your genius? What is it that comes easily to you that's unique? The Aquarius full moon says, have you gone far enough out of the old box? Or are you hanging on to old, with Aquarius particularly, mental fixity, opinions, ideals that don't work anymore? Aquarius is interesting because I call it the fringe dweller of the zodiac, because it thinks of the impossible, what hasn't been thought of before, like Ben Franklin with his kite and electricity. That's an example. Uranus, one of the rulers of Aquarius, also rules lightning. And it reminds you, with Jupiter squaring it in Taurus, the earthiest girl of the zodiac, it reminds you to ground yourself. We all know what happens to electricity when it's not grounded, right? It'll fry you. So that's not what you want. However, it also, if you've ever been shocked by some electricity on a carpet or in any way, you know that it wakes you up. It throws you back, it wakes you up, and that's what Uranus is designed to do. And with Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, you are being asked to wake up big time, to step out of the old box, to invent and to innovate, to do whatever you see as you look back over the past 6 months. Are you doing things differently? Are you approaching life differently? Are you positive, or is your mind in overdrive? Because we're all being asked, as I mentioned, to slow our roll. Our intuition has been ramped up at the time of the new moon, And Leo, the sun, ruled by the sun, also rules the heart, the upper back and spine. And so these are points of vitality and focus at the time of this full moon. Aquarius rules the electrical impulses through the circulatory system, and Aquarius rules the ankles and the shins. So I know Debbie's really aware of this. Debbie has had something happen regarding her shin lately, and she and I share the Aquarius vibration as our solar vibration. So ground yourself. Be really aware of your feet on the ground. Pick your hip up, lift your leg from the hip and allow your foot to find the ground. If your head is leading the way, you may be headed for an accident, and Uranus rules accidents. So at the time of this full moon, look at your vision. Look at what you're doing to implement it. How are you walking it in your everyday life? How are you programming yourself with a vision of compassion, tolerance, community, joy? Joy is the clearest evidence of the presence of spirit. So it's one of my values. One of the things to watch for this full moon is, as I mentioned, overindulgence. Jupiter expands. So where are you expanding in a practical way? It's one of the things that Saturn is asking us. Take a step, a solid step. What are you cultivating? What are you growing? That's a good question that Jupiter always asks us. What are we growing? And what are we doing to cultivate and fertilize that growth? Are our thoughts, words, and actions positive? Are our feelings aligned with where we want to go? And of course, since this is fixed energy in play, it has to do with building over time. Saturn is the timekeeper. It seeks to control time. But if you check in with your calendar, if you have a plan and a vision, and you commit to your action steps, then you're answering the call of Saturn, and you will build over time, and Saturn's promise will be fulfilled. And Saturn's promise is that it will pay you back for hard work. Saturn can also be the sign of reward, or the planet of reward, rather. So tomorrow is a big day in another way. And I want to go back, actually, before I mention this, I just want to go back to the process for the full moon, because the full moon is about wishing. New moons are times to set intentions, and full moons are times of culmination, reflection, and release. So what gets in the way of your vision for humanity, for your world, for yourself on a daily basis? How can you step into that vision more fully? And what do you need to release? What is the sun shining its brilliant light on, bringing out of the shadows, popping into your awareness, telling you that this is what must be released for your vision to manifest more fully? So make, as I mentioned before, you take a sheet of paper and write down what you are releasing. And as you do this, get a wish in your mind. What is your wish now going forward? I happily and thankfully, I am thrilled and thankful to wish for. I wish for, or I wish to. And so write down everything you're releasing. It's good to start today. We're still in the gibbous phase, and you can still take a step or two, on each of your intentions, so that you have a really happy full moon report card. And then the moon will be full at 11:32 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time tomorrow, August 1st. And so take a look at what you're releasing, write it down, and then do a burning bowl ceremony. Or just burn it, out in the air, away from anything that it might catch fire. Yeah, got to be very careful of that during this season, especially with the sun in a fire sign. Leo is a fire sign. It's about self-expression. So how are you stepping out to shine? What prevents you from stepping out and shining your light? How are you passionate? Are you involved in things that in your life that you're passionate about? What makes your heart sing? These are good things to ask yourself. And what is your vision regarding those things? Write down what you need to release, what's getting in the way of your wish. And then you move into a meditative state and drop into your heart and picture, envision what it looks like to have that wish come true right now. Yeah. Get a really good picture of it. Full Technicolor. And then touch your heart. And as you make sure that you're in your heart, feel what it feels like to have that wish come true right now. You do that by stepping into the picture you've created. Step into that picture. Allow yourself to feel all the feelings that go with that wish come true. Might be a very high vibration of joy, love. Could even be relief, release. Whatever the feelings are, really allow yourself to feel all of them and to listen to any messages that are coming through. And then when you feel complete, open your eyes and look at what messages, write down any messages that might have come through. And then take that paper or that page of your journal that you have written that wish on and put it out under the full moon's light to charge it. And then you will return to that wish at the time of the new moon. You can bring that piece of paper out, or you can you can bring it forward in your journal into your intentions. You're going to bring your wish into your next intentions, which will be happening with the new moon coming up in Leo. We're going to have 2 full moons in August, which, of course, if we were on a lunar calendar, which is the true calendar, the true natural world calendar, we wouldn't be having 2 full moons in 1 month. So that tells you something. But we do operate with these 12 months. And so this particular month, August, we'll have 2 full moons. We'll also have the Lion's Gate. And the Lion's Gate is it's open now. It opened on the 26th. It's our alignment with Sirius and then Regulus. And by the 8th, the Lion's Gate will be open. And I'll be talking more about that on the next time we meet. But August 1st is a cross-quarter holiday. And in the ancient world, cross-quarter holidays were celebrated just as much, if not more, than the quarter holidays, which are the solstices and the equinoxes. So we are midpoint. It tells us that we are midpoint between summer and fall, between the solstice and the equinox. And this midpoint is when we celebrate the beginning of the actual harvest, the time when farmers are out in the field looking at what they've harvested, and it is called Lammas or Lugnasad, depending on where, the origination of the holiday that you're looking at, what part of the world. So this celebrates the goddess of the grain. This celebrates the harvesting of the wheat and of the other crops. So what are you harvesting in your life? It's a really good thing to ask yourself at the full moon. Harvest the progress you've made on your vision. And be willing to move out of the old box regarding that vision, because things need to be done differently, radically. Aquarius, Uranus, this is radical energy. It's rebellious energy. And Aquarius is considered to be the freedom junkie of the zodiac. It's interesting because that is the moon of the United States. The moon was in Aquarius when the United States was born, so to speak. And the sun was in Cancer. So this cycle really brings our national values into our awareness. What's our vision for this country? What's our vision for the way that we live in relationship to each other every day? Because in truth, we are all in collaborating for a healthier, more secure world, hopefully. And I know that as light workers, we are always ramping up our game. which is why the work is so intense right now. So tomorrow is a great day to celebrate all the way around. The full moon, a new month, and a cross-quarter holiday, where we really begin to look at what our harvest is. The harvest period, the zodiac continues, begins with this cross-quarter holiday, but it also continues through the Virgo new moon and the Libra cycle. So it's, it continues until with the equinox in Libra, we look at the balance of our harvest and how we're going to share it. In Virgo, we organize the harvest. So now we are in just the beginning of the harvest process. Let me see what else I've got here for you. I don't know if any comments or questions have come through. If you're here today, please let me know. I love it when you join me. And if you are not, if you are watching the replay, then please let me know that you're watching, and comment and share me and like me and subscribe. Yeah, I'm trying to get the YouTube numbers up a little bit. If there's something that you want to hear about related to the lunar cycles that you're not hearing about, let me know that. And again, if you want a reading, I'm not sure if the link is working. Someone told me the link wasn't working properly the other day. So let me know if you want a reading. If that's the case, message me on Facebook and let me know if the link's not working. We are redoing the website. I am going to be adding, actually, this is, as I said, it's time to get out of the old box and look at the vision that you have. And one of my visions involves something called celestialbeauty.life. It's all about sacred self-care and health and lifestyle and acknowledging the fact that you are beautiful and unique by divine design. And it has always ever been so, no matter what the culture would try to program you with for their profit, right? Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to play with your beauty, absolutely, and to enhance it, but not to be a copycat. And that's definitely another message of this full moon, because Aquarians are not copycats. They're quite the opposite. So daring to be different, moving in new directions, that's up for this full moon. Be open to your dreams, your intuition, and what's being birthed within you. Still, wake up to what it's calling for you to do now. What's the nursery that new birth will flourish in? What do you need to release to welcome the awakening that's happening in your life? We know that one of the biggest cornerstones of ascension, if not the biggest, is self-love. And this is what this shift into the nodal axis will help us with, self-love, setting healthy boundaries. Aquarius it has to do with collective energies. It is the sign of the human. So it has to do with humanity. And as I mentioned, it can be opinionated. It can be too detached. It can want to just keep itself above the fray. One of the reasons for that is because those who hold a lot of Aquarius energy, and you'll know what I'm talking about, feel the collective. They literally feel the collective. And therefore, there has to be a good balance between time taken for yourself and time spent in group activities and with friends and in community. Regeneration is another good word for the need that Aquarius calls for. So be sure that as you shine your light and fill your heart with light and love for yourself and for others, that you also really do take time for yourself, that you set healthy boundaries. That's one of the big messages with this South Node in Libra, is healthy boundaries, as well as shifting out of codependence into interdependence. And what does that mean? That's another thing that Aquarius, being one of the rebels of the zodiac, if not the rebel of the zodiac, asks you about. So grounding yourself, spending some time and grounding yourself in nature, spending some time looking at your values on a world scale. Inflation continues, and we may really be feeling that and looking at that in our lives as this full moon squares Jupiter. How are we handling our finances? Are we realistic? This is really what the Saturn ruler says. Time for a reality check. Full moons are always reality checks. But this one also asks you to do a happy dance between your family of origin, your roots, and the child within, and this full moon of your vision. And again, Leo takes you to your passions, to the heart. And that's what's shining a light on this full moon, is the sun. So how are you handling the influx of light that's coming in at this time? Are you giving yourself time to assimilate? Does your mind automatically go to, well, I'm older now? Well, to find excuses or reasons. Well, the reason is that we're being bombarded with light. We're being called to be a participant in the shifting of this DNA, of the literal shifting of the human species from carbon to crystalline energy. And this is stuff that it's hard for us to fathom. There's so much going on. There's such an incredible influx of light. And you are all light workers. You are all lamps on your path to awakening. And there are many, many others that benefit from all the work that you do, because you set up a vibratory field and a frequency that you have no idea how powerful, how far-reaching that is. So if it's loving, if you're moving forward in love from your heart, you're in touch with your vision and with what makes your heart sing, and with love for yourself and others, you can't go wrong. You can't. So we've got a new month coming up. Mercury's going to retrograde in Leo during August. So I'll be talking about that. And we've got 6 planets in retrograde motion. Venus is asking you to review your passions, to review what makes your heart sing. So it's underscoring all of that. Also, it's underscoring how you attract what you need. And with the Taurus in the mix continually, doing it differently, especially the way we think regarding our finances, because we may really see some stuff in August regarding the systems. They are shifting. Everything is shifting. The old is collapsing. But we're reminded that because we have a vision, because we have a dream, because we are the light workers and the way showers, the new is being built concurrently, right at the same time. And it has to do with community. And it has to do with our friends. And the awareness of oneness. Interesting, right? What a dichotomy it seems. So the game is to not get polarized while living in duality, to not get negatively polarized. And with the sun in Leo, it's reminding you that laughter is still fabulous medicine. So I find it interesting that as we have this emphasis on Aquarius and Uranus, that there's this movie, Sound of Freedom, out. It's about human trafficking. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but pretty amazing concurrence of time, confluence of timing here. All the big issues are coming up. Which one will we hitch our wagon to? Where will we make an impact with our vision? So I wish all of you a wonderful, wonderful week. I'm very happy super full moon, full super moon. Be sure to go out and see it tonight. It's bound to be pretty magnificent. And live your vision, walk your vision, be the light worker that you are. Welcome yourself into your heart and live a life that's passionate. And as Aquarius always reminds us, be curious. Be curious about life, about other people. about your path, about so many things with that wonderful, wonderful mind of yours. I wish you a beautiful, blessed week. And you know I love you to the moon and way beyond. Thanks for watching.